let's begin with a tally of CO2 quantities of interest. The composition of the atmospheric gases is shown here. The red represents nitrogen, the green, oxygen, the yellow, water vapor, and the blue is argon. This tiny little sliver is carbon dioxide. It comprises only about 1/2500th of the atmosphere. But its importance as a greenhouse gas is somewhat larger. In order to see just the greenhouse gases, we must get rid of the nitrogen, oxygen, and argon. Water vapor, regular old clouds, accounts for about 95% of the greenhouse effect from our atmosphere. Carbon dioxide and methane from sources other than man account for about 4.72%, and humans account for only a small fraction of 1% of the gases that contribute to the greenhouse effect. So the contribution from CO2 to the greenhouse effect is generally small, and the part of that is attributed to human activity is tiny. Okay, back to the effects of CO2 in the atmosphere. What does it do? First, it makes plants grow better. This chart shows tree ring data for long-lived trees like bristlecone pines. The sharp rise in the last 50 years is largely attributable to the increased CO2 in the atmosphere. Nursery growers have known for a long time that increasing the CO2 in their greenhouses increases plant yield. This chart shows the increase in U.S. forest over the last 50 years. As atmospheric CO2 increases, plant growth rates increase. Also, leaves transpire less and lose less water as CO2 increases, so that plants are able to grow under drier conditions. Animal life, which depends upon plant life for food, increases proportionally. This group chart compares the growth of wheat, oranges, and pine trees at atmospheric concentrations of CO2 of 295 parts per million, which is the 1885 value, and 383 parts per million, which is the 2008 value, and finally at 600 parts per million, which is the projected future value. Note that concentrations inside office buildings often exceed 1,000 parts per million. This group shows that wheat grows 38% more at 600 parts per million. Orange production more than doubles. And pine tree growth is more than triple at high CO2 concentrations.